Alright, so this is a video I've wanted to do for a long time, and this one is going to be my top 20 things that I've sold since I think 2015, somewhere around there, that I have records of here. So I use GoDaddy bookkeeping, so I was able to plug in the numbers and to go back to 2015 and see everything, the highest dollar prices, and I'll keep out like when I scrap gold and silver. I don't want to include those because that would just kind of throw everything off. This past year a few months ago I sold 10 grand in gold and silver, so I don't want to skew the numbers by that. But these are just items, single items that I sold on eBay, the top 20 I've sold. Alright, so number 20. This is going to be, it's kind of sad to see. In 2017, I got a 18 karat gold Franklin Mint. What is it here? It's a Franklin Mint Mother's Day pendant, and it was 16.34 grams. It sold for 515 bucks. Let's see what that is, because right now I know gold has gone up quite a bit. So let me just pull up my app that I have here. It's not an app you guys can have. I actually made this app. I don't know, let's see, I made this app a few years ago using Flutter, which is Google's language. So if I plug that in today, hopefully you can see that. If I plug that in today, it would have been worth 746 bucks. But back in 2017, that's what gold was going for. It is what it is, 515 bucks. Number 19, this is Copeland Spode, and their dinner plates, and it's dinner and salad and bread plates. But the pattern of this is called Trade Winds. This is a really decent pattern because Copeland Spode, it's like a hit or miss. This one was a really sweet one. This one sold for 525 bucks. Not bad, because I bought this and it literally sold within a month. And each of those plates I think I paid 99 cents for the really small ones and $1.99 for the dinner plates. So I'm not sure exactly, looking at this, how many there were. I'm sure if I went back I could probably count them, but I'm not going to. But in any event, there wasn't that many. It was probably a stack about this tall, so give or take probably about no more than 20 plates, and it turned it into 525 bucks. That is a good deal. Number 18 is a 19. So I've mentioned before that I really like watches. The one watch I'm holding out to wait and find, and when I do, I'll have it repaired and I'll wear it probably for the rest of my life. But this one, although very similar, the one I'm talking about, the one that is the one I'm looking for, is a 14 karat gold Omega Seamaster with the little trident holding guy in the back. This one, though, I found this is a 1968 Omega Constellation, and it's almost there, but it's not the one I want. That one and the Speedmaster are, the Seamaster and the Speedmaster are the ones I would like. This is the Constellation, and it sold for 528 bucks. Number 17 is a solid 14 karat gold rope chain. This is 40 inches, 40.5 inches, 21.21 grams, and this sold for 550. Had this have been today, that would have been 755 bucks today of gold, but in 2018, 550 is what I was going for. Number 16. Okay, this was back in 2015. This was right after I quit my job as a juvenile detention officer. And I found this wheelchair. Now I know wheelchairs, I worked with special needs kids in the past, and I know wheelchairs, especially electronic ones, can go for really decent money. This one I put up, this was a R82 Wombat, special needs children's chair. It's for children. This one I had up for $1,000, but somebody from a charity offered me $600, and I accepted. He came and picked it up in a minivan. I still remember because it was kind of amazing for me because it was one of my first high dollar items. And so it sold for $600. All right, number 15. This is a really cool one. This one is actually in a museum now in Salem, Massachusetts. This is a antique. It's an antique. How should I say this? It's an antique incense burner, but it's got winged devils that are holding it up. And a guy that runs a museum in Salem, Massachusetts, bought it. He offered me $600, and that was gone. That was a really cool one. I like anything that I sell to museums, and I know offhand of at least 4 or 5 things that have gone to museums, it's pretty cool. It's a cool feeling. Next up is a bronze statue called Prometheus, and it was by a guy named Pavlos Angelos. I'm not even going to try to go with that last one. It starts with a K. But it actually had the business on it. It was like a business bought this and gave it to one of its employees. And I ended up selling it for $600. All right, 13. This is an antique Art Deco 18 karat multicolored gold 28 diamond pendant. It's not going to be able to be found. I'm not going to be able to find that one. It's not much I can do. I remember when I sold this, I just pulled it up in my email. There's no picture on it. That's gone. But I did have correspondence because I remember the woman asked me for an appraisal sheet. I did not have one. But, again, I'm sorry I don't have a picture for you. This one sold for $629.99. This is also going to hurt when I look back and see how much this would go for now. But this was a 1967 Oneida sterling silver flatware set. The pattern is called Bountiful. It was 642.39 grams. And this one sold for $695. Just to rub some salt in the wound. Oh, that hurts. So this one sold in 2017. Had I still had it today, it would be worth $13.49 and 59 cents. $13.49.59. So almost just under double what I sold it for is what I could sell for today. Ouch. All right. Next, we have, this one is actually one of my favorite things I've ever owned. I used to keep it right above here. I don't really display much that I own or that I buy to sell. But this one, silver's a passion of mine. I really like any antique silver, something that has the old stamps on it. This one was really cool because it had the little zigzags in there, which is something that you should always look out for when you're looking at old silver. Is sometimes it won't have a 925 or a sterling mark. It'll have the assayers. It'll have little marks, but if you can't find those, it'll have an assay zigzag pattern. And that was when the assayer would take his sample and pull it out. But this was from 1710. It was solid silver, and it was a wine beaker's snakeskin pattern, which it kind of looks like a bunch of little dots hammered on there, like little circles. And I can't even begin to tell you how cool it was when I found this. Something from 1710. I was able to date it back to Nuremberg in 1710, and I could literally track it down to where it came from. And to know that, I mean, for all I know, it could have made its way here via some pirate ship. For all I know, I mean, I don't know, but that's the cool history of it, is that anyone could have had it. It's been around longer than the country in which I live in has been under American colonization. The snakeskin wine beaker sold for $708.10. All right, next up we have an antique Chinese incense burner. This was of a gentleman named Laozi. Not by him, but it's of him. He's the gentleman sitting up top to steer. It's kind of a popular thing to see, but this one is really old. This one sold to someone, I believe, in Europe. And actually, I want to say it sold to somebody in Prague, but I don't know that for sure. I would have to really look into that. This thing was 6.5 inches, and it sold for $755. All right, next, this one, along with the snakeskin wine beaker, is one of the cooler things I've found. This one, I actually remember this because this one sold to an oil tycoon that I'm sure you would know, but I can't really mention the name. But in any event, it's an antique sterling silver John Watson, circa 1797 wine bottle coaster. I actually sat right out on my porch and had a bottle of wine myself the day I found this, because again, I love wine, but I'm a huge silver fan, so it was just really great for me. This one sold to an oil tycoon for $799.99. Ooh, this one. This was one of the first weird things that I found, and I got it in a vase of jewelry. I remember I was sitting on my couch. Actually, it was a Lazy Boy I used to have, and I was going through this vase of jewelry, and this little apple came out. It was like a smiley face apple, I believe is what it was. I don't remember exactly. I mean, I will find one to post up here. But it was given out in Paris as like this guy had an art exhibit, and anyone that went to the art exhibit was given this brooch. And if I remember correctly, it was like an apple with a smiley face on it, and it was by Claude Lalaine Arthus? Bertrand? I don't know. Something like that. But in any event, it was in 1996. He handed all these out to people that went to his art exhibit. And this one, when I listed, it sold, I think I put it up for $1,000 or a little bit more. It ended up getting an offer for $800, and I took it. All right, this is number 7. This is a huge antique 14 karat gold purple silver sapphire cocktail ring and earring set. And I probably won't be able to find a picture. Maybe I will. But it was just a very large purple sapphire. It was huge. It was a very beautiful cocktail ring and earring set. This I ended up taking an offer for 800 bones. This one was back in 2017. This was a vintage solid 18 karat gold 2mm curb chain link necklace. 25.5 inches. It was 12.75 grams, and it sold for $824.99. Next up is a vintage 14 karat gold yellow 1.5 carat sapphire and diamond engagement ring. This one sold. I remember exactly when this sold because I was a little hesitant when it sold because I didn't know. I think the person only had like 1 or 2 feedback when they bought this, but so I was, when you have that and you're new, you kind of had this sketchy feeling that everyone's out there to rip you off. It's just not the case. This one ended up selling back in 2016 for $899. This next one is another watch, and this was back in 2016 as well, and I don't think I would do this ever again, knowing what I know now. But I remember I got this again. It was a vase of jewelry, but it was a broken Seiko diver's watch, and it happens. And I saw it, and I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. But it's broken, right? But it turns out that after I got home and I looked it up, this was the original first made Seiko diver's watch. The model number is 6217-8001. It was all original. It had the dolphin back, and this one was broken, and it was purchased I put it up, and it sold within maybe 30 minutes or an hour for $1,200. So I remember as soon as it sold having the sinking feeling that I had messed up. But also, it was back in 2016, and I was really kind of new, and $1,200 is $1,200. Now this is number 3. This one actually really cool. This one, I bought this. There was a small thrift store that I used to go to. It's no longer around. The woman was really nice. She actually worked with behavioral kids as well, and we kind of knew the same people. And I would very rarely buy things in there. But I walked in there one time and she'd put together this vase and she sold it to me. And when I got home, it was almost an entire vase full of silver and gold. And I'm probably talking in the neighborhood of I made somewhere around 10 grand off that one vase. But in any event, this was one piece out of that entire vase. This was an antique 14 karat gold charm bracelet. And I don't have it in here, the grams this weight, otherwise I would do the calculations. But the whole thing, it was 18 karat and 14 karat gold, a lot of the charms. So it was probably over an ounce of gold. I'm assuming it was over an ounce of gold. But this one sold for $1,400 even. This next one is a piece of artwork. So this is the second piece of artwork on this list that I've had, I believe. This one is a very famous pop artist named Robert Rauschenberg. And this was a 1969 NASA-inspired lithograph. I bought this for, I want to say, $10. It was a very big lithograph. I mean, it's like, I don't know if it was 3 feet by 1.5 feet, somewhere around there, maybe. I remember when I got it, I have an art dealer that I've worked with in the past. I've actually never sold anything to that guy. But this one, I brought it to him. He ended up going to New York for a print. It was like an artist print convention that they have in New York City every year. And he said he would take it with him and try to sell it. I told him, okay, that's fine. I do just want $1,000. That's all I would like is, $1,000. He ends up taking it to New York. He has it for about a month. He comes back, tells me he couldn't sell it. Whatever, I offered it to him. I said, you could just, if you want to, you can hold on to it. You can give me $1,000. Call it fair. He said he couldn't do that at the time. So what I did was I took it next door to his shop, to the framer, got it framed, got it put in a decent frame. I didn't spend all that much money. I probably spent like maybe $200 getting it framed. But so at this point I have about $210 into this. I bring it home, I list it online, I put it up for, I want to say I put it up for $3,500. And no bullshit, an hour and a half later, I get an offer for $24.22, and it was gone. $2,422 in less than an hour and a half. That's a really good feeling. The guy was a collector of Rauschenberg. He has numerous ones. He ended up sending me pictures of his collection after he got this one there. And that was a really good feeling. This next one, last but not least, number one, the highest dollar item that I've ever sold on eBay. Which, for all you guys out there that sell, a $100 item, you get kind of nervous about it selling. Believe me, I feel you. I end up holding on to this money for I think I held on to this money for 6 months before I decided to even think about spending any of it. In any event, this gentleman, John Flanagan, he has done many works. I think it's a building, I want to say it's not, I think it might be the Treasury Department he designed the clock in. I could be wrong on that, but it was one of the buildings in D.C. But in any event, he's done plaques and that kind of stuff. So the one that I have, the one that I sold was the only remnants of this ever existing was, so he made these plaques of Mark Twain, but he made those plaques, I want to say it was in 1935. But the one I have was the original artist proof that was from quite a few years earlier, that was recorded in I think it was a Wall Street Journal. I had it in the listing. I ended up tracking down the exact piece and when it was from. Very rare. It's if you're a collector of this guy, this was one of those things that it never comes on the market, and I ended up finding it. I actually bought it from my local Goodwill. I spent $50 on it. It was behind the what was it called? It was behind the registers. They have like a lot of the high dollar items, so they'll put like, you know, the taxidermy stuff or whatever, things they don't want to break or whatever. But this one was for $50. I remember seeing it and I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. Then I did the research. I held on to this thing for, I want to say I had it for over a year, maybe a year and a half. And I was sitting on my couch and I was playing, this is how nerdy I am, I was sitting there playing Call of Duty. And this was before my phone turned into a piece of crap and I actually got notifications on it. I remember the cha-ching going off and I was like, I'll just wait till the end of this game. And 10 minutes later, I finished the game and I looked down at my phone and it was an offer for $5,500. And I thought about it and I was like, because I had it up for 10 grand or something like that. And I thought about it and I was like, you know, should I send him an offer? And I was thinking about sending him an offer, but then, you know, like, sometimes you just got to be happy with what you get, you know? Like, I've never had an offer for $5,500 after that, you know, anytime previously, anytime after that, you don't get something like that. And you can't look at, what my mother used to say is you can't look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm not entirely sure the origins of that, but $5,500, I clicked the sold button, and that was that. The biggest dollar item I've ever sold, $5,500. This was the top 20 things I've ever sold. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video and you would like to subscribe, that'd be awesome. I'll keep them going. You know, I do the what sells every week. In any event, thank you for watching.